We, like all such Washington groups, haven't brought up two of the biggest budget sucks on development, which is aid to Egypt and Israel. And by the way, and I don't think my credentials as being a supporter of Israel can ever be in question, Israel does not need foreign assistance. It just doesn't. That's a chunk of money. I think there are plenty of people within Israel who would agree with us. They have a GDP per capita that is higher than some of our states. And so that's one. I also think that we ought to, frankly, look more intelligently at what we do in Egypt. Those are two really big ones. Pakistan, again, we're talking about fragile states, but the right question, and this is to echo, I think, what the American people would say about this, has this money been effective in achieving the goals for which it was set out? And I think it's very hard, particularly in the case of Egypt and Pakistan, to make that argument. So, all of these things that we sort of, we all like to tinker around the edges. We really shouldn't do this program or that program. Those are big chunks, and everything should be on the table no matter what.
I mean, there are examples at the programmatic level of where aid to Pakistan has helped, for example, keep girls in school.
Sure, there are. But I mean, these are the right, but budgetary support, I mean, damn, right? We know what that is. We know what it is in the case of Egypt. Again, everything should be on the table. Okay. That's the right way to address it.
So that brings me to a really good point that we got in from our live stream. This is actually from Eric Postel, formerly of USAID, who says, how will changes discussed by the panelists add up to $6.9 billion worth of cuts? What specific countries/sectors should be defunded in ways that add up to those many billions?
I'll need a napkin. But I want to echo Danny's point. I think Pakistan and Egypt are great examples of places where, based on a national security imperative, we've poured money into a country. The aid people can say, look, this indicator, that indicator has improved over time, but we have not, this long partnerships in both cases, have not produced a stable, well-functioning country with good institutions that are dedicated to relatively open trade and good security policies. So yeah, you can pour billions into a country, and of course the schools are going to get better, and of course the immunization rate's going to go up. But if you achieve the fundamental change you need in that country, and I think in places like Egypt and Pakistan, the record is abysmal, and in Pakistan, I'd argue it's actually been counterproductive, that our assistance has helped undergird a military government that is committed to a never-ending arms race with India, which it can never win because it is a fraction of the size of a country. And until they
with a less functioning economy.
With a less functioning economy. So until they get away from that notion, and until our aid stops undergirding that notion, it's not going to be an effective country.
So you both pull aid to Pakistan?
I don't think anybody's talking about pull. I think that everything should be, the problem is we're on autopilot.
Yeah.
And again, I think we would all agree that there are big chunks. You want to talk about big money? It's on autopilot. And it's there for foreign policy reasons that in and of themselves don't get revisited or tested against facts. Sometimes you hand out money because you're buying something. After 9/11, when we had cut off aid to Pakistan, we were handing out money to Pakistan. We had no clue where to spend it, how to use it effectively. We just wanted to go over with a helicopter and pour it over the country, and if people used it to wallpaper their walls, that was fine. But we were buying something in the wake of 9/11 that was important. But then we continue and continue. And these things should be on the table.
And actually, there's a number of scholars here at CGD who would probably agree that if we just dumped money out of a helicopter in Pakistan, it probably would have been more effective as an assistance strategy with a lot lower overhead.